Good evening, everyone. How is everyone over here?
Good.
Hello, good evening.
All right.
Doing
Hello,
good, sir.
Am I
Good evening.
audible? Okay, fine. Somehow my uh, speaker was not doing well. Now I could hear you. So thank you so much. So yes, we have started the recording, I guess. Yes, we have started. So all right. So before we begin, let me ask you this thing. How many of you, means who could not watch the recording? Who did not watch the recording? Does it mean everyone did watch the recording?
Which recording? The review?
Yeah,
The video?
the
last
video
week?
we recorded.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Savan, for watching this out. And also today we will be reiterating few things. And before we begin reiterating few things, let me quickly ask all of you, and let's see who can quickly answer without doing a Google search. Can someone tell me how many team member we can have in one agile team? Okay, no quick answer. Yes, Savan, go ahead.
It depends on like the size. Is there like a specific size? Because I don't think we learned that.
Okay, you did not learn that. Okay, no problem. How long a sprint planning meeting should go on? Any answer?
The stand-up meetings or
Suchana, you can just avoid speaking for now. I know that you know all the answer because you are repeating. So I would not request you to answer them. So you said what? Stand-up meeting?
stand-up meetings?
No, I'm talking about sprint planning meeting.
Oh, that'll be like
All right, no problem.
1 to 2 hours.
No, Apamita, that's not Apamita. You are also repeating, but yeah, not exactly 1 to 2 hours, but yeah, they have got the dependency. So no worries. So why I'm asking you this question? There is a reason behind it, and that we are going to go through, and we will learn. And once again, a reminder I am going to bring in front of you. But before I talk about that reminder, let me ask you another question. How many of you are daily listening to Earl Nightingale, Earl Nightingale's audio track? Who is listening to that?
the one in the ones that you sent us, right?
Yes, in the beginning.
Yeah,
Thank you so
yeah.
much, Suchana. I know that you are listening to it. So yeah. So who else other than Suchana? None.
Not
I listen to
Nah,
it
yeah.
couple of
Every
times.
other
couple of
day, yeah.
days. Yeah.
Okay,
That's right.
so its name itself is daily listening. Earl himself says that you must listen to this audio track at least thrice in a day. And I know that thrice in a day is not really possible. So at least listening to it once in a day should suffice for regular 30 minutes. Let me know this thing. Do you know that you are the kind of a person who tend to remain always positive? Okay, but the question over here is that how many of you think that you always remain positive, and why we need to remain positive to attract all the solution in the life? So how many of you think that you are positive all the time? Now, Earl says that the moment you skip a day of recording, it means somehow negativity has hit your head. And that could be one of the yardstick to check for a continued 30 days if you cannot complete this one task to listening to Earl's audio track. Why he says that? Because he had already mentioned that this is something which is going to add value to your life, and if you are skipping for a day, you must restart from the day you skipped it. Okay, and why we need to continue to listen to it at least once? And when you think that 30 minutes is too long, put it into 2x so that you can repeat this in just 15 minutes. or you can complete it just 15 minutes. And yes, for long 30 days, you will uncover lot many possibilities, and you will see the more you will listen to it. Okay, so that one thing I just wanted to tell. What else? Why did I ask you these question? I'm going to share that with you as well. So let me once again ask you the one core reason. Do you still remember why you are into this training?
To get placed.
Yes.
Want to get a job, want to
Like,
work, want to make
yeah.
money.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your answer. And this is one kind of a dream and one kind of a vision that requires to be protected. And that's the very reason we have something called, which we call it as a core values, or say code of honor. And we have 7 over here. The very first one is known as showing up live, being on time, remaining punctual, and remain highly committed. Why we need to have it? Because one universal law associated with this, which says that what? How you do anything is how you do everything. And once you practice to be here in the very first pillar of Guru schools, then once you get placed, you need to continue to follow the very thing when you will start various kind of sprint ceremonies. Do you know what is sprint ceremonies? Other than Sushna and Apamita, do you know?
Yeah.
No? So whatever you know, that sprint planning meeting, stand-up meeting, sprint review meeting, or sprint retrospective meeting, these all are also known as ceremonies. Okay, so this is not just a meeting, these are also known as ceremonies. So in any of the agile sprint ceremonies, so these practices are required, and you are practicing the very thing over here. So that's the reason we have this one as very first code of honor. Second one is because you are learning over here, because you are practicing this training, even though this training you can consider as a part of your project, very first project in IT. Okay, you are learning over here. When you are learning, so is learning sufficient? No. So you need to, because you are learning, you are a student, and you don't have to be just a student, you have to be a full stack student who will do all the assignments what we are asking to do, and who will also do a self research, and who will also do who will also repeat what you have learned. Why you need to do that? Because once you will do it, you will see something for which you can take the responsibility of, which is also called as success. You will see the result as success, and you can own the responsibility of this. Just because you became a full stack student, you are able to see the success. But again, if you are not able to see this result, then what kind of result you will see then? Because you did not follow certain thing which has been asked as a proven technique, what we have been seeing, and that we are requesting you to do. So once you not success, then what is going to happen? What is the opposite of it?
Failure.
Failure. Yes. So who will take the responsibility of this also? It's only you, right? Because you did not follow certain thing, the certain result did not come. So if certain result did not come, you need to take the responsibility of it. When you will take the responsibility of it, then you can correct it to reach back towards success. Do you agree with this? Without correcting failure, can you reach back towards success? No.
No.
Yeah. So everyone in an agreement so far? Yes?
Yes.
Thank you. So that's why it is very, very important to go further and dig it out, because it always requires, bulletproof positive mindset. I talk about, I don't talk about just mere positive mindset, and that will give you opening doors to have a learning mindset. And for that, you will have to go complaint free. Then only you can have these two type of mindset. And when you will go complaint free, don't keep it empty. Always load your mind with the gratitude, and you'll see the result. And that's you can find in Earl's audio track. And what will it help you further? Then to increase your receptivity. And how you can increase your receptivity, as I always say, that listen to all, the strangest secret. Okay, and that audio has been given to every one of you. And also remember to follow this golden quadrant of learning. So golden quadrant of learning is it says that declare with the anchor, and then learn and draw and then summarize. I know you come here, you declare with the anchor, you learn, and then rest of things gets fizzle out, right? So that's not a complete learning. Okay, why you are learning? You just quickly before sharing me the code of honor, you answered it, right? That you have got a dream, you have got a vision to start working into IT. But do you think you will be able to achieve it if you are not completely following what you are asked to do? Do you think it is possible? Sometimes we give you some questions or some topics, and when we ask you, I was just checking because sometimes we have given you some point and you are not able to answer it. Why? Because that is not there somewhere in the memory. And why it is not there in the memory? We just listened to it once, we did not even practice it, we did not even go through it, we did not even repeat it, and we did not even try to draw it and summarize it. There is a science. Let me quickly tell you what is the science behind it, why we need to declare an anchor. I understand that I'm going to emphasize this because only for your betterment. The science behind it is that when you start learning something new, what exactly happen in your brain, there is a small network of neurons. Neuron is nothing but a brain cells start getting created, which is also called as dendrite connection. It remains always weak until unless it has not given some pattern. Okay, there are chances this network will fizzle out in a day or two, and if even you don't remember. Has it ever happened you met with someone sometime, and after certain year and you met that person for 5 minutes or 1 minute or 2 minutes, and once again this person comes in front of you, you figure it out where I have seen that person. Sometimes you don't even remember whether I have seen that person. Has it ever happened to you in your life?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
with everyone, right? Why it has happened? Because that even visual did not create the proper dendrite connection. Even if it was created, it was never strengthened. And because it was never strengthened, it remained weak and it gets fizzle out inside your brain itself. And that's the reason we need to follow certain thing, which is also called as patomation, brain patomation. Okay, which is nothing but pattern formation. Okay, so that will strengthen this dendrite connection. And here the beautiful thing I am telling you, that is nothing declare with anchor. This science is called as NLP. Have you ever heard the name of the NLP?
Yes.
You have heard. Okay, thank you. So NLP means what? It's a neuro linguistic programming. Okay, so that's what we do quickly over here just before we start the learning, because our body verbs and words get into sync so that it can create the dendrite connection stronger. When you learn that, what happens, the dendrite connection start getting built up properly, and then when you draw it, it gets strengthened, and when you summarize it, it retain almost forever. Okay, have you ever experienced, not experienced, have you ever known this kind of science earlier? Why we are doing it? Did you think that this is something which we are following as a part of trend? No, we were following it just because it will help you in a bigger run. Okay, and this goes with every single new learning. And using this, I'll be also telling you how you can master just in 3 days any topic and can become expert on it just within 5 days. What exactly you need to do it. So I'm going to tell, but before that, every single step is preparing for the next step. If your very first step is not foundational step is not a big important, or it's not built up, do you think that another step will be built up and you can step up further? Do you think it is possible without having a very first step being prepared, you can step up on the second step?
No.
No, of course not, because very first step is not well prepared. So this is very first step, and that's the reason I keep on asking you, hey, when you declare with Anchor and learn, go back and draw it within 24 hours and then summarize it. Okay, and if you are not doing, there is another reminder to all of you that kindly follow this. Are you going to commit to follow this? Everyone, are you going to follow this? 1 minute summary is enough. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much
Yes.
for your commitment. I truly appreciate, and I trust you. When you say yes, I trust you, because before me trusting upon you, you need to trust on yourself. Yes. So on this note, are you ready to declaration then? Should we declare? Are you all ready? Yes.
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 Thank you so much.
Yes.
So at the count of 3, what I am going to do is that applying this NLP, this is nothing but declaration with the anchoring. Anchoring is nothing but it is a kind of a clap, which we also call it as a self high five. So on the count of 3, we are going to do this and then repeat what is selected over here on the screen. 1, 2, 3, and go. I am a quick learner.
I'm a quick
I'm
learner.
a quick learner.
What others can learn and master,
What others
What
can
others
learn
can
and
learn and
master.
master,
I too can do that.
I too
I
can
too
do
I
can
that.
too can do that.
Because I am an awesome learner,
Because I'm an
Because
awesome
Because I'm an
learner.
awesome
learner.
learner.
today's learning is going to be super duper easy to me.
Today's learning
Today's
is
learning
going
is
to be
going to
super
be
duper
super
easy to
duper
me.
easy to me.
And once again, clap and say that, yes, it is going to be. Yes, it is going to be. Yes,
Yes,
it is
Yes,
going.
it's
Yes,
going
it is
to
going
be.
to be.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And remember, when you are learning and you have completed it, now it times comes where you need to become giver. Why? Because when you give, your learning dimension expands, your learning horizon expands, and your learning capacity expands, and your ego goes away when you become a giver, because going ego away, that makes your learning capacity stronger and wider, and it also keeps you spiritually grounded, so that you get ready to wear this intent of doing the charity. Why you need to do that? Always remember that this charity can be done to the places or the causes where you believe in to do so. That could be anything. It could be church, mosque, or temple, or anywhere you believe in, or to any causes for feeding children or orphans, or old age home, wherever you want to donate certain amount. But it is recommended to start donating at least 5% of your earning or 10% of your earning. Why? Because there is another science behind it, or another universal law behind it, says that what you give, let you grow; what you receive, that let you may survive. But I'm sure that everyone wants over here to grow, right? Yes, everyone wants over here to grow. And there is another saying that what goes around comes around, but we are here not just to survive, but to grow. And let not start doing this just with the intent to grow, but also to inspire your community, your connection. So if you are today earning already, so start doing the 5% of charity, not at least the beginning 10% if you can't do. So 5% you can do it. Okay. My various connections are doing, my various students are doing, I myself does that. I myself do it, and my fellow students do it. Okay. So again, remember to appreciate what you do and what others do for you. And even something does not happen in your favor, so appreciate that also. Why? Because what you appreciate, that appreciates you back. On this note, let's get into the deep learning. Are we all set for the deep learning? Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Let me open up the slide, which I'm going to share with you. And today we are getting into the very details, and quickly I'll show that what we are going to repeat. So I assume in the past, we have talked about sprint planning. We have talked about product backlog. We have talked about what else? Daily stand up, and what goes inside it. So did we talk about it? Do you remember?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And in case you don't remember, what do you need to do then? You need to go
Rewatch
through
the
the
video.
Watch
recording.
the
Go
recording.
rewatch.
Exactly. Rewatch. So let me quickly share this. And today we will be going into the next sprint ceremony. And anyone remember what is the next sprint ceremony? After sprint planning and daily stand-up, what comes next?
Sprint
Sprint
review.
review.
Exactly, you are right. So yes, we are getting into sprint review. So exactly what happens in the sprint review. So we are going to talk about that. So agenda for sprint review meeting is very simple. And before I begin that what exactly happens, let me quickly show you the sprint framework or Scrum framework so that it will be easy for you to remember that. I know that every one of you might be knowing and remembering. So let me quickly bring that slide from where we had left so that you can remember this. Sushana, I believe you are repeating. So do you remember by any chance if we have done the sprint planning session, because I did not get certain answer on sprint planning.
So, what is the question? What I have to say?
Do you remember that in this batch we have completed sprint planning by any chance, if you remember? Okay. Sawan, do you have any idea on sprint planning?
We have read about the Scrum ceremonies, and now you're
Yeah,
saying
we had
that
like a
we have
brief
this
thing. Yeah.
ceremonies as well.
Okay, brief you had. Okay, what I'll do,
Yeah.
I'll flip this PowerPoint so that you can help me to know that. Okay, so wait a second. Let me bring that up. Give me a second. Just bring that up for you. All right, let me reshare the screen. Okay, have we seen this slide earlier? Scrum role briefing. Did we?
It's still the same slide from before.
Okay, let me reshare that. Can you see the screen now? Well,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, this is done.
This is done. Yeah.
Yes, we did this with Prerna.
Okay. So this is a sprint
Oh, yeah.
planning, daily Scrum sprint review. We are going to get into it. This, and have we also gone through last time this slide where we talked about various ceremony? You remember it?
No.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So majority is yes. So I'll go with yes. We also talked about in Scrum planning what input goes inside, then how sprint planning happens, what exactly we discuss into sprint planning, what we will do, and how we will do. So, and the output is that the creation of the sprint backlog item happens. And we might have seen this also. I guess last time itself, the Scrum sprint, these are the product backlog, everything becomes the ticket. The way it is getting done, we just ship it up, and these are called as completed product. Do you remember that? That was almost at the
Yes.
end of
Yes.
Yeah, that
last
was
time.
at the end. Yeah.
Okay, so we also discuss a little difference between Scrum and Agile, and then Sprint and Scrum. And then we talked about the various sprints. So I think we had covered this as well last time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for confirmation. And today, let me quickly go and see this. So if that was there. Okay, so I think, do you remember about this? Who is involved in sprint planning? Did we discuss this in detail? No?
Yes. Yes.
We discussed this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
there in my notes. Yeah.
Okay. Sprint planning meeting checklist.
No,
The
not this.
okay.
No,
So I
not
think we
this.
need to
No.
The
Not
cover.
first
this
one.
one.
Okay, we need to cover this. So let me quickly go through. Thank you so much for your answers, and let me quickly cover the sprint planning. So yeah, these things, few things were your in your notes. So still I will back trail it so that we can cover it completely. So this typically involves the entire team, product owner, the development team, and Scrum team. When we talk about development team, does it mean only the development team? Development team means it is a set of team which who are involved into a Scrum planning. Scrum is a framework, you all know about it, okay? And we, for the entire team in a Scrum, we consider them as a development team. But the moment we talk about development team, it is not the one who is going to do what? Coding. It is not the one who is going to do coding, then only he is going to call as a part of development team. The person who is involved in doing all these activity like testing, analysis and design, and then writing some technical architecture document, and even BRD document or FSD document, or DevOps team. Together, everyone, when become the part of a Scrum team or a sprint, they are also called as a development team. Is it clear now to everyone? Development team does not mean in Scrum the one who codes, but the entire set of the team, BA, tester, developer, and product owner together.
Yes.
Clear to everyone?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
So what exactly
Yes.
happens in sprint planning? Product owner identifies the candidate and product backlog items and their relative priorities, as well as purposes of every sprint goal. So what product owner does? So he picks up the candidate. Okay. He picks up the highly skilled candidate and make them the part of the sprint. The team members determine how many of the product backlog items they forecast they will be able to complete, and determine how they will deliver those product backlog items. So how does it happen? Based on the priority list. So who knows about the priority? Any answer quickly? First, who knows the priority?
Product owner.
The
Product
product
owner.
owner.
Yes, exactly. Brilliant answer. Thank you so much for your answer. Is product owner who knows the priority first, because customer are the key connection for him, or product owner is the key connection for the customers. Okay, so he knows the priority. And here what Scrum Master typically does, so he coach and facilitates sprint planning in order to ensure that the discussion remains effective, and that there is agreement to the sprint goal, and that the appropriate product backlog items are included in the sprint backlog. He facilitates the meeting. So whatever is required to look at the sprint board, who does that? It's Scrum Master role who enables it. Okay, so that even in a visual manner, a product from product backlog item, something has to be picked and put on the board. The board could be the Kanban board. In coming days, I'm going to show you what does exactly Kanban board look like. But before that, let me ask you, have you ever seen the Kanban board? No? So,
No.
okay, remain excited. I'll show you some in coming days, in couple of days only. So in couple of session, I would say. Okay, so this is Scrum Master job. He enables, he prepares everything so that product owner can decide the priority of a product backlog item. And when we are talking about product backlog item, I had given you the example of bread loaf. If you remember, do you remember that? Bread
Yes.
loaf getting sliced into the small slices. Thank you so much, Savan, for remembering this. So these can be first, a product backlog item comes as a bigger goal from a company to a vendor to who is going to develop it. So big product, big bread loaf is nothing but the epic, it is called. Epic means the exact goal, the exact objective. When it is getting sliced first, so bigger chunk, it also becomes, backlog item. Now the backlog items are put into the sprints. Okay, in sprint, what they do, they will further break it down. In sprint planning meeting, they further break it down, and then it is called as user stories. What it is called? Answer,
User
please.
stories.
User stories.
Exactly. So it is called as user stories, and further user stories are broken down. But user story, my dear future business analyst, remember, user story is very, very important. And on this user story, you are going to work as a business analyst. Okay. So this is very, very important. Don't ever try to forget this user story. The moment you are being asked that talk about something you do in your daily activity, you cannot deny your relationship with user story, because every time you will be working on the user story. So that has to be included as a part of your daily activity, that you work on user story. User story sometime used to also call as use cases, but use cases used to become bigger. But user story, it means that it has to be broken down even the thinnest level of the requirement. Okay, so user story is nothing but the thinnest level of the requirement, where you can also attach some diagram. What kind of diagram and all, we are going to look at it again when we will transition into business analyst learning. So that is another important factor. And then user story will be converted and can be broken down in the various activity. Why? Because business analyst has written down about user story, and the user story will also talk about if he is talking about developing certain feature, so the features will be broken down further. Okay, so he may talk about combination of three feature in one of the user story. Then he realizes not it comes with the three user story, he will break it down the three user story, but also he might be figuring it out all these three features. And on development team requires to work upon, then he will create an activity for development team, he will create an activity for a tester team, and he might also create an activity for himself. So thus a user story is broken down further into the feature and then activity and some action item. That's why where it is also called as action item or to-do list. So are you clear that how the fractioning happens over here for a bigger chunk of requirement? That was from epic to product backlog to user story to the feature to activity and so on. Clear with you all? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Let's move further and see, where does sprint planning take place? A good location for sprint planning is the team room, so that you have access to all the information about your product backlog, and you can you can have the reference and update any information radiators you may use. And who arranges this? Any idea quickly, and can you answer? Who arranges these rooms?
Scrum Master.
Scrum
Yes,
Master.
exactly.
Scrum
Do you
Master.
know that Scrum Master is also known as a brilliant tag he has been given? He has been also known as servant leader, because it is also known as egoless leader, because he is ready to help the team to remove all the impediments. And that's the reason he organized every single thing. He is the leader who leads by example to the entire team, including the product owner. Okay, so that's the reason for his every layer of the powering up to the team, he is known also as servant leader. So this is the concept you can remember. Okay, cool. Do you clear with what is the word? Servant
Yes.
leader.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
servant leader,
So
you need to. Okay, Sushna was out. I need to get him. So if your team is distributed, sprint planning represents a good opportunity to gather everyone together so that your planning discussions can be more effective and to reinforce the person-to-person connection of the team. And that's when he makes sure that Zoom links are created, and not always it happens on Zoom, sometime on different communication tool. It could be Google Meets, it could be Teams, or anywhere else. So Zoom is just an example. So this is done by, arrangement is done by Scrum Master. So what does sprint planning take? When does sprint planning take place? So sprint planning occurs on the very first day of the new sprint. We are going to open it up. Okay. So remember, the very first time when a project is beginning, then sprint planning is sprint planning is done for the entire whole day, but not every time, because here now in the very first meeting, it is also called as a kickoff meeting. Okay, but next time when sprint will start, it will be called as a transitioning into the new sprint. And there you can consider that even the first day of sprint planning is, if you are giving the entire 8 hours, your day one has gone in that sprint only. Okay, be very much clear. Did you get this? What did I just now say? When you do the sprint planning, even the sprint planning will become the part of sprint itself. Say, for example, something you require to complete within 15 days or 14 working days, okay, or say 10 working days, because Saturday, Sunday, we don't consider, right, in working hours, in working days. So it becomes what? It becomes 8 working hour, in fact. So 40 plus 40 into 80 hours. So are you clear with this two weeks? When I mean to say, it means also what, 80 hours I mean to say. Are you clear with this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So out of 80 hours, this 8 hours, if you spend 6 to 8 hours in the sprint planning, it means you are left with only 72 hours, because 8 hours are gone. So be very mindful about it when you are getting into sprint planning, how it is going to affect your work. So the event should occur after the sprint review, and the event should occur after sprint review and retrospective from the previous sprint. So, but very first time the project is beginning, it does not mean that it has to get over. Why it will get over? Because there was no pre-existing sprint earlier, right? So it will only reoccur as a first one in the first sprint, but in the later sprint, you have to make sure the earlier sprint retrospective gets over. Are you clear over here as well? Yeah.
Yes.
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 Okay, thank you for the clarity. And in case you are not clear at any certain point of time, you are going to ask me. Yeah. Are you going to ask me if you are not clear?
Yes, sure.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So remember that it has to occur after the previous sprint retrospective meeting, and it does not have to occur immediately after those other two events. You will find it's best to place a higher priority on scheduling sprint planning when the entire team is available. Okay. So who will do that? Again, the Scrum Master. He will make sure the entire team is available, the room is available, or the connection is available. If it is not, he will see that when they are going to be available and when is the best suitable time to arrange it. You may find that it's best to have a standing consistent time for sprint planning so that your team can keep that time slot clear from other engagement. And announcing that at the beginning itself will make everyone clear these are the days on which sprint plannings are expected, so that your team is knowing it well in advance. So this will be communicated by whom? Any idea? You can give me quick answer. This will be communicated well in advance by whom? Any idea?
The Scrum Master.
Exactly, by the Scrum Master. Can we have a round of applause to the answerer. Thank you so much for answering it well. Thinking, it says that you are thinking, it says that you are hooked what is going on and you are understanding that. Thank you so much for answering it. So remember, when you are clapping for someone, you can unmute yourself and you can clap, because do you remember the universal law? What you appreciate appreciates you back. So let's practice from small things. So yes, sometime we can learn the small things for the higher purpose. So never consider that as the small thing. Thank you so much. So in sprint planning meeting checklist, what exactly happens? So for Scrum Master, there is certain checklist. For product owner is certain checklist, and for development team as well. So Scrum Master makes sure that video conference screen is available for this sprint planning meeting, and it is shared and or Polycom access information set up and shared. If the people are sitting together and trying to also connect with the client on certain clarity, or if the team is distributed geographically, so that if some from somewhere, if some transmission is going to happen, it can be the smoother one. Schedule meeting place, again Scrum Master makes sure that he does that. Scrum Master does that. Prepare and publish the agenda well in advance. Will be shared with whom? Any answer? It will
Scrum
be
Master.
no. Scrum
The
Master
team.
job.
The
Exactly, Savan. Thank you so much. So can we have a round of applause for Savan? It says that the attention, your continuous attention is there. Thank you so much. And everyone's attention is there. Only the, there is a time lag between that attentivity. So thank you so much. So check calendars for company holidays. Yes, this is very important. Future Scrum Master, make a note of it. You can't just go blindly and arrange the meeting and publish the calendar. You need to know when is the holiday and company holidays, when the product owner is available, because it has to be also in sync with the product owner's availability, and all the team members are available, and training room is available, and then training events, travel and employee time of everything you consider, and accordingly you plan it. So 1 or 2% you can simply compromise with. For tactile artifacts and replenish suppliers of market, post-its, 3 into 5 cards, pens and etc. Everything you keep it together. These are very important stuff. Post-it cards it required, because we will be working towards the Kanban mode. Everything when you decide in the sprint planning meeting will become the small ticket. Your post-it will represent to those ticket. It will get turned into user story, will get turned into the activity and action item that you are going to fix it where. These are 3 things: to do, doing and done. So where you are going to fix all these sprint planning items initially? Can someone give me answer on the board? Just now I gave you the 3 states. It's to do, doing and done. So these are the 3 states. You are going to put the decided product backlog item, which you are going to write into the post-it, and where you are going to fix it when it is getting decided. To do, exactly. Thank you so much. Can we have another round of applause? This is another exercise for your before sleeping. It make sure that your all blood circulation is well done in your body after the meal and gives you sound sleep. So don't refrain from doing so. So thank you so much for your answer. Then comes product owner. So product owner sets the goal and priority, ensure that backlog item candidates are ready. Candidates, we are referring to those ticket only, those post-it only, according to the team's definition of ready, a definition of done, or definition of ready, if a definition of ready exists for the team. So for do you know what is the end goal of a ticket is? End goal of candidate is definition of done is done. Okay, we will be looking at it, what is definition of done. Okay, but before starting, it has to follow the definition of ready. Okay, when we call it definition of ready, we will be also looking at it. Okay, so make sure the skills and capabilities of team members are known and are generally aligned with the needs of the backlog item or candidates for the sprint. Okay, so he makes sure that team is available, capable team is available, highly skilled team is available. So how he chooses that, we will also look at it with their expertise. Development team. So they plan the work to be done, and determines how much it will take to make it done. So the checklist for them, it has update the team's definition of done as needed, and make sure it is easy to reference during the meeting. Now quickly let me tell you that the moment you design your user story, against user story you need to also design its acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria is nothing but at what time things will be accepted by the client. Okay, and when you make sure in the form of checklist, that will become the definition of done. When these all things are met, it means that candidate is over, it is ready, it can be shipped further. Are you following what I'm saying? Are you with me, everyone? Yes.
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 Thank you so much. Thank you for your answer. So this is how in the pictorial form we can talk about. So product owner, scrum master together, okay, they are working on capacity and velocity of every single item. Thanks to Suchna last time giving for sharing for this video. So thank you so much. And these are the input, and product backlog item are input. Current product status remains just as read. Initially you are going to start, and then in sprint planning you decide and work what to be done and how to be done, and the output has to be the sprint goal is finalized and sprint backlog item is ready. By the way, how many of you did watch the video of capacity and velocity? Did you watch it?
No,
Okay,
sir.
none.
Completely
So,
skipped.
so no problem. So next time you can go ahead and watch it again. So how is sprint planning structured? This is very important slide. So you are going to put your focus upon. Sprint planning is typically split into two parts. Part one is called as scope. The team selects which items from a prioritized list of ready product backlog items. Okay, they forecast they will be able to complete during the sprint. Now sprint is what? Any answer? Quickly, what you will answer it? What is sprint other than Suchna and Apamita? So yes, Sonali, Saman, and others who all are there on the screen. What do you mean by sprint?
It's a
Aparna.
time duration to carry a specific activity.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Sonali. Can we have a round of applause for Sonali? Thank you so much. You can unmute and you can clap. Thank you so much. A small effort. Thank you so much, Sonali, for your answer. Yes, exactly. So everyone remember that the moment we talk about sprint is nothing but a time duration in a very short form. So time duration, it has to be really fixed. Okay. It is also called as, when we talk about time duration in sprint, everything has to be time boxed. We will start certain time and fix in certain time. So that's why it is called as time boxing. The team selects which items from a prioritized list of ready product backlog item, usually expressed as user story. Can you see here? Everyone, can you see here? User story. Did you see that? I just highlighted
Yes.
user story. Yes, Savan, you are
Yes.
there with me. Sonali, Aparna,
Yeah.
Suchna, everyone. Thank you so much. So let me quickly go back over here. And here we plan some sample agenda for the first part of sprint planning. And what is the goal for the sprint? Use this as a decision filter to determine which product backlog item to include in the sprint. So that's what we work on. It means what is in the scope. What product backlog items are ready and contribute toward the sprint goal, that is also decided. With me so far, can I quickly go to the next one on the how part?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So part one is the designing and deciding the scope of it. Second one continues that what we are going to discuss. Before we come into the second one, let me quickly cover what else goes inside the sprint planning. So in this also we decide who is available for the sprint, Identify any vacations, holidays, other activities that will impact everyone's availability during the sprint. Why we need to do that planning? Because we need to understand this is going to impact what? Deliverable. This is also called as deliverable. What you are going to ship or complete and give it to your client is also called as what? Deliverable. What is the keyword? Please repeat along with me. It's called as deliverable.
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 Yes, thank you so much for repeating this. So, because tomorrow you are going to repeat it when you are at work. And then, what is the team's capacity based on everyone's availability? So, capacity we need to define. Capacity has to do with the hours completion in hours, in fact. And what items will the team include on the sprint backlog based on the sprint goal and the team's capacity? At the end, we should be very much clear that what we are going to achieve and retain, okay, and deliver. How confident does the team feel that they will be able to meet the sprint goal? Okay, so even the confident is very, very important. If at first place you are not feeling confident, do you think you can complete it?
No.
No.
No, because the confident is means your mind is shaky. It will not let you start itself. The moment you are not even started, how can you think of getting it completed? So getting started is half done. Remember this, getting started is half done. And how you can get started? When you have the confidence. Okay, and that is the very first basic thing we through this training want to instill inside you, that you can do. Okay, now when I have said that, ask us the visualization visualization of model of being a BA or Scrum Master. That video I want to share, and I want you to start going through every single day. But when you can go through every single day? When you have started attending the RRP session. How many of you have started attending the RRP session? So can someone tell me who is attending this RRP session? I think Suchana is doing. Apamita, how about you? Are you attending?
No, sir. I'm
Okay.
usually at work at that time.
So try to figure it out and speak with the HRs or Devji that how you can attend it, because you are generally at work at that time. So who else is attending?
I attended the first 2 weeks. Last week I didn't attend.
Okay, no problem. So why we need to attend it? Because our core goal, we know that, and just to get place, sometimes some repetitive thing will happen. And RRP is something where you will find things are, even though repetitive, every time you may find when you are attentive that there is something for you to chew it and digest it, and so that you can strongly and confidently showcase in your CV. So that's why it is very important for all of you to go through that RRP session, and then only it makes sense. Then only it makes sense that you go through the visualization session, which I am talking about, the video that you need to go through. All right. So we also talk about confident. We talked about the part 2 of this comes. We know now what is in scope. Now let's plan. So in part 2, we plan it. The team discuss in more detail how they will deliver the selected product backlog item. So what comes? What we have decided in scope, what all the available items. Okay. And now we are going to discuss that how part. What is clear? Now what comes next in the plan is how. So what is coming in planning? Can you repeat along with me? What is coming in the planning? How.
How?
Exactly. Thank you so much for your answer. So this may, but does not have to include identifying the task for the product backlog item, whether there are any dependency between the items, and signing up for the initial product backlog item that each time member works on. So that also we are going to decide. Okay. So the dependency has to be clear. In pictorial form, we can represent like this. Product owner has this braid of loaf, but nothing but to-do list, but nothing but product backlog item, creating the product backlog and planning a project release. Scrum Master facilitate, make sure that development team is available, and sprint planning meeting goes for 6 to 8 hours. Okay, that is lesser than one working day. How long it goes? Sprint planning meeting?
6 to 8 hours.
6 to 8 hours.
Exactly.
Less than
Remember
one
this
working
now.
day.
Yeah. So, and here we work on the sprint backlog item. We refine it well. And what happens every single day, we work on it. Okay. So sprint may be from 1 week to 4 weeks max. Say, for example, here is an example given. It is for 7 to 10 days, means 2 weeks, 1 week or 2 weeks. As two working weeks. Okay. 2 to 4 weeks is traditionally it has mentioned. Every single day, what you will do a daily scrum task. It will happen every single day, every one day. Okay, for 15 minutes, where you talk about 3 items. What did you do in your last state? What you are going to do in your next state? And is there any bottleneck you experience, any impediment appears, you are going to share. That's it. And say, for example, someone started giving answer, hey, no, why did not you do that? Why did I did not do this? Because there was this XYZ reason. Hey, we don't want to listen to the reasons. The reason has to be discussed and offline. Okay. So but few scrum master mistake it. They don't take control on it, and they let it flow because product owner is there, and it becomes simple status call. We don't have to convert into status call, remember that. Okay, but people who are not following agile methodology, somehow it is okay to discuss and let it go beyond time. But when it is strict sprint, how long it has to be? Stand-up meeting, how long it has to be?
15 minutes.
15 minutes, yes.
15 minutes.
And you are smart if you can finish it up before 15 minutes, just within 10 minutes. Okay, every single day this is going to happen. And then once you completed certain backlog item, you will do sprint review meeting with client. Okay, where he will come and see you demonstrating that what all have gone well. Okay, and that goes for how long? 2 to 4 hours. So sprint review meeting, review means also review means demonstration of what has been done. It goes for 2 to 4 hours. How long sprint review meeting has to be done? Within how
2 to
long?
4 hours.
2 to
Exactly,
4
2
hours.
to 4 hours. And once the sprint review is done, then comes to, sprint retrospective. And in sprint review is done, daily scrum is done, it gets shipped. It gets shipped to the client. And after that comes sprint retrospective, because now you are ready to prepare for the next sprint. So you need to retrospect that what did go well, what did not go well, and did you really learn out of it? It is not a blame game meeting. It is something lessons learned meeting. And you include them, you incorporate them, you write them, and you plan them, that how you can make it possible and make it workable in the part of sprint planning meeting next time. Okay, so sprint review meeting will go for 2 to 4 hours, sprint retrospective from 1 to 3 hours. Okay, and again, once it is done, so next sprint, analysis, design, and build preparation happens. So everything will start. So build preparation is done just before things are getting placed, but you analyze and design for the next sprint only. Okay, let's move to understand the Scrum sprint framework. Here project vision is, your epic is also called as project vision sometime. Are you clear with this information you need to? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And in product backlog item, you plan the end date when you are planning to deliver. This is also called as release planning. And then actual sprint planning happens in the planning meeting. Then you continue to implement. Then it follows the daily scrum, those three sentences. Once it get completed, sprint review happens, and in the continuity, it gets deployed. Deployed means shipped. It gets delivered. Okay. And then comes sprint retrospective meeting. And then once again, you get into the another sprint planning meeting and it continues to go on. So in sprint planning meeting, you discuss on three things: the what, the who, and the how. And input is provided from a sprint backlog item, and output is those deliverables go to the client. All right. So the how part, what exactly happened in the how part? Okay. Are you with me so far? Are you able to grasp it? Are you able to understand it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So can you all just clap and say once, I'm getting it, I'm getting it. Can you all clap with me and just say along, I'm getting it, I'm getting it.
I'm getting it.
I'm getting
Thank
it.
you so
Getting
much.
it.
Thank you so much. So yes, when you declare, you start believing, in fact, your mind start believing that you are really getting and you are ready to get pumped up into the consistency. Thank you so much for doing so. So in sprint planning meeting, the how part, the development team plans the work necessary to deliver the sprint goal. And remember here, goal is very important because that has to be achieved also. It has just not to be written on the board. Do you agree with this? And that's why we are working together. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Ultimately, the resulting sprint plan is a negotiation between the development team and product owner based on value and effort. Now, product owner is very smart, and the effort which you are quoting, it will take, say, for example, 24 hours. That means 3 days gone. Do you understand how it will go? When he's quoting something
Yes.
24 hours, 3 days
Yes.
are gone. Your smart
8 hours.
product. Yes, right, Savan. Thank you so much. So your product owner will say that, hey, this there is not so hard work. We are done with this. Do you really think that 24 hours are required? He will try to negotiate with you if he can bring it down to 8 hours. Okay. So you be your visionary, that you decide whether you can really work within the given time slot or not. You can say no, yes, depending upon the getting means convincing factor from within. Okay, whether you are convinced and or not. The who defines that you cannot do sprint planning without the product owner or the development team. So product owner's importance is that the product owner defines the goal based on the value that they see. How he can, because he is the only person initially he is in touch with client. Do you agree with me? Yes, everyone. Yeah, do you agree
Yes.
with me? It's
Yes.
only product
Yes.
owner.
Yes.
Initially he gets in touch. But later even business analyst also get in touch later, on later stage. The development team needs to understand how they can or cannot deliver that goal. So this constraint also needs to be understood. Okay, so then only they can say yes, no, or whatever it is. If either is missing from this event, it makes planning the sprint almost impossible. Okay, because they need to clear whether they can deliver it or they cannot. Okay, then only they can plan it and they can fix it, else things will go on toss. Do you agree with me on this? Yeah, are you
Yes.
able to
Yes.
understand it?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So what is input and output? We are going to quickly look at it. So a great starting point for the sprint plan is the product backlog, as it provides a list of stuff. So along with me, can you quickly rush to the bottle and have a quick sip? I know that if you are really, so can you quickly have a small sip of water? And I am also going. Yes? Can we have together?
Sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sushna, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Suchana is repeating, so she might have to leave. I quickly sip the water. So now I can continue. So a great starting point for the sprint plan is the product backlog, as it provides a list of stuff that could be potentially be part of the current sprint. So by the way, before I continue to begin, let me ask you, are you all done? Are you all done?
Yes.
Sipping water?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. So the output part is, and the input, we are done with it. So all the in the current sprint is going to go. We are clear on this. We define the capacity, and we also know that what all works are done. The output comes over here. The most important outcome for the sprint planning meeting is that the team can describe the goal of the sprint and how they will start working toward that goal. So that is also needs to be in the consideration. This is made visible in the sprint backlog itself. Okay. So are you clear with the input as well as the output? Means all the product backlog, when they are coming and understood as a part of prioritize, we understand how long it will take to be completed. And at the end, what we are going to achieve, that will become the output. So these clarity are defined and decided into the sprint planning meeting. Are you clear with this? Everyone?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me quickly show you the pictorial representation of it. It looks like this, product backlog. Okay. Here you're working on the whiteboard. Do you see the small tickets, the post-it? Can you see over here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this gentleman is trying to move it. And this board is sometimes also referred as Kanban board. So he is trying to say that whatever is completed requires to be moved into the done, or if we are still working on something, that we can put it in the progress and can consider into the current ongoing or next moving sprint. And in next moving sprint, we are also going to cover this. They are fixing it in the to do. And in the sprint planning meeting, these all discussion goes in, and the goal, we are very much clear what at the end we are going to achieve it. So I think Prerna is there with us. Good morning, Prerna. Welcome. So yes, I think you are there, right? So let me know whenever you feel comfortable and if you want to take something. Otherwise, I'm in the flow. I'll go. All right. So Scrum Sprint. Scrum Sprint is a repeatable fixed time box during which a done product of the highest possibility value. Oh, really? She is not allowed to unmute herself. I'm not sure why it is happening. Let me quickly check this. Allow participant to unmute themselves. Yeah, you are allowed. Let me quickly check. I have asked you, so anytime you will have to, you can go and unmute yourself. I'm not sure why it is happening, but people are over here are unmuting. Okay, no problem. So I think, yeah, she can rejoin it. So let me go back what we were discussing. So Scrum Sprint is repeatable fixed time box thing, which is a done product of the highest possible value is created. Okay, so done product will be at the end. Will it be at the start? Because it is not yet done.
No.
Yeah, thanks, Saman. It won't be at the start, but that is the mind. That is in the mind that we are creating the done product. Are you agreeing with me, everyone? We are designing what? A done product, but done is in future, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. So yes, and sprint lies at the core of the sprint agile methodology and can be thought of as an event which wraps all other scrum events like daily scrum, scrum review, and sprint retrospective. So this has to be the goal. Prerna, are you able to unmute now? Okay, I think, I don't know. So I'll ask again her to unmute. So somehow Prerna is not able to unmute herself. So that's fine. So Prerna, whenever you feel like you can unmute and talk, you can you can interrupt in between whenever. I'm not sure why it is happening because I just now showed you. Can you see on the screen? It is allow participants to unmute themselves. Can you see this is tick mark? Okay. 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 So I'm not sure. So why it is happening, but let's see. I think you will have to only figure it out. And whenever you feel like you can speak up, you can speak up, but that's fine. So we'll continue in the flow, and whenever you feel like that you can unmute, you can speak up. But yeah, sprint is one time box iteration. Iteration is the keyword. What is the keyword? Iteration you need to remember. Can you repeat along with me? What is this? Iteration.
Iteration.
Yes, thank you. So sprint is one time box iteration of a continuous development cycle within a sprint, and planned amount of work has to be completed by the team and made ready for review. This is what we are going to review in the sprint review as well. Scrum projects are broken down into small and consistent time intervals referred to as sprints. They can be as short as few days and generally are no longer than 4 weeks. Okay, clear on this? Time box means every single sprint and every single activity has to be time boxed. Okay, and this is what sprint looks like, of 4 weeks maximum, minimum 1 week. Clear with this?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
let's get into the continuity. So during a sprint, there is a development team that comprises of cross-functional members, and that's what we were exactly talking about. So cross-functional members, what do you mean? Can you quickly guess? It consists of all the functional owners, all the functional employee
Oh,
who are,
basically everyone on the team.
yeah, so different expertise in one team. Exactly, that's what you also mean, right, Sawan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this could include software engineer, architects, programmers, analysts, system admin, Q expert, testers, UI designer, etc. So they are coming from a different department, different background. That makes them the cross-functional team because different expertise coming together. Okay. So their responsibility are also recognized in the sprint planning meeting. And this is what happens in before the sprint. There is a sprint planning meeting. The length of the sprint planning meeting is proportional to the length of the sprint. A 4-week sprint should be planned in no more than 8 hours. It has to be lesser than a day. A 1-week sprint should be planned in no more than 2 hours. So do you understand the proportion? For 1-week sprint, 2 hours. Then for 4-week sprint, 8 hours. Do you understand why a 1 month old or 1 month long sprint will go for 8 hours or 6 hours? Do you understand now?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
for 1 week we have to plan it only for 2 hours, and that's the reason for four sprints we have to spend 8 hours. This meeting determines what the goals are for that sprint. Based on the team velocity, a set of features are pulled from the top of the product backlog to the sprint backlog for the coming sprint. And for that, I want you to go ahead and look at what. Do you remember at the start what we did ask? To look
The
at what?
video.
The video, the velocity and capacity video. Kindly go through that. You will be easily able to understand what exactly it is. And if you can summarize, nothing like that, it will be bang on. So you have to strengthen your own and right connection on what you are learning, because that could be first time, say for example. So we discussed so far product backlog and the sprint plan backlog meeting. We are just achieving task, 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 and task. In product backlog item, we are working on user stories, which are picked in the sprint planning meeting. So during the sprint, what exactly happened? No features are added. So if, example, dear future Scrum Master, client may come to you or someone may come to you requesting, hey, can you please add these features in the ongoing sprint and you can deliver it to us? So what answer should you give as a business analyst or scrum master? The answer is, let me pass
No.
this information to product owner, let him decide, I may not. So answer is indirectly no, but you will be saying that Let product owner decide. Okay, so you yourself cannot do that. Daily stand up in a sprint. The daily scrum, three things. I'm not going to read it because we are good with daily sprint. Okay, let me quickly go to the next one. It says that every morning of the sprint, again, we have discussed this, so I'm skipping it. Is it okay to skip? We are talking about daily scrum over here, the 15 minutes stand up call. It
Yes,
has
you
to
can
be.
skip it. We
Okay.
already learned a lot
Yeah.
about
Yes. So Scrum meeting, these three questions again, this daily communication makes sure that if something is holding up, so again, the same thing, this is what I have done since we last met, this is what planned to do, and these are the obstacles I have. And this is what we have gone through again. And what is sprint and scrum? Time box iteration of development cycle, broken project into small, consistent time interval, as short as a few days and as long as 4 weeks. We have covered this as well. So far, any question? Any questions so far? Anyone can ask me anything. So ask me anything if you have any question. If not, then we will continue. So by the way, are you ready to download some more material? Download as in inside your brain.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So can we have a round of applause for all of you? I really love this energy. Thank you so much. So this is night over there and still you are completely pumped up. That gives me strength to do something more. Thank you so much. I'm sharing again the screen with you. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead and ask me.
So when you asked the first question in the beginning,
Mhm.
that how many members are there in an agile team?
Mhm.
Could you please answer that?
Oh, yes, why not?
I think it is 5 to 10, but I'm not sure.
Okay, any another answer? Anyone would like to answer, Apamita?
Yeah, that was me. I
Yeah,
asked you the
yeah. So
question.
I know Apamita. So I'm asking
Yeah.
others. Anyone can answer to Apamita. Okay, so let me give you answer straight away, Apamita. So the answer is it's not more than 3. Sorry, it not less than 3 and not more than 9. So the answer to your question is 3 to 9 is the ideal size of the member of any sprint team. Okay, any scrum team.
Okay.
Clear? So you can take a note
Thank you
of
so
it.
much.
You are most welcome. So thank you so much for asking this question. So now we are getting into sprint review. We will touch base and then we'll continue in the next session. A sprint review meeting should be a natural result of sprint involving the product owner, the scrum team, and the scrum master management, customers, developers from other projects as well. So what is the core purpose of sprint review? Any loud guesses? I would invite you to do a loud guess. Any answer, please.
To go over what we did.
Exactly,
Yes,
Saman.
feedback.
Yes, Sonali. So yes, both of you are right. So this is to just showcase what we have done. And how does it happen? Let's get into it. So agenda for sprint review is this. Development team talks about the sprint, what went well, problems that arose while doing these all activity. Okay. And they discuss this, they share this with the client. Hey, client should not feel like, hey, these things were so much pretty easy. They came back and they did it. No, they should know what exactly the team underwent. Okay. And how they achieved it and demonstrate the completed.
Hi, Gaurav.
Hi,
Hi,
Prerna,
sorry for
welcome.
interrupting. I
Yeah.
actually uninstalled Zoom, restarted my phone, and now I'm here.
Okay, and
I
we
made
can
some
hear you.
bug.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
yes. I'm
Yes.
so happy that you could hear me. Yeah.
Yes.
So what are you going ahead with
So
right now?
just a sprint review. So I'll complete this slide and you can pitch in with the another one then. Yeah.
Sure. Okay,
Super.
please go ahead.
Thank you. So here it has to be just normal that they need to understand what exactly the team, how did they achieve it. So then at the end, customer will ask certain question and you need to answer it. And this happens with the development team. Product owner discuss current snapshot of the product backlog and roadmap, projects likely completion dates with various completion rate or velocity, and also the assumption. This is what product owner has to speak in what, in where he is going to speak up. Any answer? Come on,
During
guys.
the review.
In the sprint review.
Exactly, in the sprint review meeting itself, because we are talking about that. So Prerna, you can continue with this agenda for the sprint review then.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So hi guys, it's so nice to be with you in this session. So I'm pretty sure Gaurav has explained the earlier topics quite well, and we can move to sprint review. If you remember when we had a session that time we had an overview of all the events in a particular sprint, starting from the say stand-up meeting or sprint retrospective and sprint review. That time sprint review was a part of that topic, and now we'll kind of go through it in detail, wherein from the agenda point of view, what things that needs to be discussed, what output we have to get out of that meeting, or rather a specific this review, that is very important. So going back to this point by point, I'll just request each one of you to read these points, and then I'll go one on one. So you'll also have this time to understand and to trying to have your view on these mentioned topics. Yes, anyone can start, please.
Development team talks about the sprint.
Thank you. Next.
Reviewing the goal for the sprint.
Right. Next.
Demonstrating new features implemented during the sprint.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Requesting feedback from the stakeholders. Requesting feedback from the stakeholders.
Yes, yes. Next, please. Thank you.
Discussing work not yet accomplished.
Right, right.
Identifying risk and impediments.
Perfect.
Reviewing
two.
project increment objectives.
Okay, and the last one.
Looking ahead to the next sprint using the top lines from the product backlog.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So if you remember, all these points are related to the delivery, what has been done. Along with that, kind of like a review of their own performance as a team. Okay. So when I say related to delivery means that development team will come together and share their learnings, understanding, or any highlighting points of the current sprint, like what all they could achieve, what all they could deliver, what all they could give on time. Did they face any technical I would say they will kind of present to the team what all they have developed. Okay, so it will be like, this was the sprint of per se 2 weeks, this was the task given to us, and this is the delivery. So this is all kind of presented in that format. Then come to the reviewing of the goal for the sprint. While they're presenting this, they they have to align this presentation, or they have to kind of align the deliverables with what was the project the sprint goal. For example, if your goal was to develop a website, I'm just assuming, it's just a hypothetical exam. It is very difficult to develop a full-fledged good website in 2 weeks. Simple HTML web pages can be done, but a very, like for example, a websites like Facebook or MSN or Yahoo or any newspaper websites, they are very interesting. There are many things. There are some charts, some music, some pictures, some videos. So imagine, so in that website, that kind of website per se, the goal was to create maybe the home page, only the first page of, when you type, say, per se, msn.com or google.com, what all you see, you see the login page, the logo, and, maybe some data on that page. So have we achieved that as a sprint goal? Okay. So we have to understand that if we have achieved, well and done. If we did not achieve that, we miss some of the points, that's also fine. We can just have the look and the explanation that, okay, we could achieve this much, and this time we have introduced this, functionalities. Basically, it's kind of you're highlighting your achievements to the stakeholders and showcasing your, deliverables. Okay. Then demonstrating new features implemented. I just mentioned that. So new features, if any, or also I'll just share one very important real life, I would say, practice that we have in IT or any other industry, that if you have a customer and they have some specific demands and, requirements, so if there is something that you can do for free, those are called free cookies or freebies, or, so it's just like some additional graphic effect, some additional functionality, some additional effects, like, it's like some music coming in or whatever. It can be anything that a customer did not ask for directly. So it's just like a gift, it's like a freebie that you're trying to give them, just to ensure that they are happy or they like it, or, you have some additional feature that you think that they can use it in a detailed manner, or that can be useful for their business. So what happens, why we do that as a team or as an organization, that the customer feels good about it. Whenever you I can really give you a very good, a typical Indian example on this, that all of you must have had pani puri, or I don't know, in north they call something else, golgappa. Have you had in here, in India, in US? Have
Yes,
you
of
had,
course.
guys?
Yes.
Yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Everybody likes it. Yeah.
too
Yes.
much.
Yes.
That is yummy. Okay. So, when we finish having our set of maybe 6 puris or 12 puris, then at the end, that the puri wala gives you that extra soke puri. That's just a dry puri with some, boiled potatoes and some chaat masala and not, So generally, it's not asked for, but then they offer you. And if you have a kid, and if you get something spicy, they offer you one more. So what is it? It's actually having a bond with your customer, giving them freebies. So you're like, oh, that guy, he gives a free puri. So that's something. And now it has become a norm in India. If they don't give, people get aggressive. But it's never, mentioned that they have to give a free puri, a free sukha puri. So it's a very layman, the easiest and simplest and funniest example. But try to map with that. You're giving your customer, your high end customer who is paying you, an additional feature, and they are along with the features that you're giving, and you're kind of mentioning that in your demonstration. It kind of adds a feather in your cap. It makes you feel that you're taking so much care of your customer. You're kind of very keen on delivering them. So that's all that, ball game is there, of you having a good rapport with your customer. And yes, requesting feedback. It's not only about you sharing or you presenting. This is the time where your stakeholders, it can be anybody, it can be your customer, it can be your senior management, it can be your vendor team members, they can provide, and they should, that okay, we wanted a different color theme. Okay, your page load time looks a little bit more, we want a quick refresh, like the page should if I type msn.com, the page should the page should load very quickly. So any observations, okay, we want some bigger images on banner, we want to focus on a product or anything, they, if they have a technical team, and many a times even the client had some technical in-house teams, they can come up with technical size. Okay, the response time has to be fast, we need to have show more data, we need these kind of reports, we need a PDF reports, Excel reports, or whatnot. So all that feedback is very necessary for us, for a Scrum team, to kind of reflect, and okay, what they can do better, and what the customer is asking, what are their thought process, what are their recent developments they are, they want from us. So this is a very important thing. So feedback is always important. Discussing work not yet completed, absolutely. It's not only that I think we have mentioned earlier that many a times in a particular sprint, there is a chance, there is a scenario that you're not able to complete the sprint. Okay. Some of the low priority or some items that customer himself or herself have asked you to deprioritize, and and in the benefit of time and delivery, you kind of do not go ahead with them in this sprint. So this is the forum wherein you have to mention that, okay, there's some of the functionality we did not deliver in this, we will take up in the upcoming in a sprint. It was done due to the less priority or other additional ask was given, additional requirement was given, which was of high priority, right? So that can also be discussed or mentioned, that so that everybody is on the same page, everybody understands that. And yes, identifying risk and impediments. Okay, so in this scenario, risk and impediments can be in the form of some technical skills or technical licenses that you want. You might need some softwares or some, some licenses that might cost more. Those are difficult to procure. They are time consuming. So, for example, many a times maybe you need a server for some of the client requirement for database handling or whatever, and that would take another 2 weeks time to deliver. So you can mention that, okay, so that is why we have kind of plan that activity in the next sprint, or after 2 sprints. Or if you have any other, okay, we need to work on a particular skill, and currently we are kind of doing some POC, proof of concepts on that. So yes, generally as per my experience, companies don't like to highlight that, but then it is a good forum. You can share some views about it, that okay, also risk can be, you feel that your team is kind of small, you might require one or two very skilled resources that you do not have, and you are working on them. So yeah, that can be a risk or impediment, that okay, you need more people to work on and you do not have as of now, as per the work is going. So yes, this kind of some foreseen and unforeseen risks that you can share and discuss in this forum. Reviewing project increment objective, that means what are the next subsequent tasks or requirements, or what are the next project objectives, next project. I would say, if you look at the long term project, what is the plan for the next sprint, what are the things that you will take up next in this project, that you can mention very well. And yes, last but not the least, for the next sprint, using the top lines from the product backlog. That means, as we have mentioned earlier, that all the high priority, high in demand, or highlighted by the customers line items are, or requirements or user stories are kept at the top of the product backlog. So you just ensuring that everybody knows that you're going ahead with that in the next sprint. Okay, so these are some of the very important pointers or agenda that has been that is generally mentioned in a sprint review. So I'll request Gaurav if he wants to add something, or we can take some doubts or queries if you have on this, please. Anybody has any doubts in this? That what is sprint review and why we are doing this and all? Yes? No? I mean, everybody's quiet. You can at least say yes or thumbs up. I'm fine with
Yes.
that. Yes? Good. Okay. Thank you,
Yes.
All
Aparna.
good.
Thank you, Savan. Thank you, Aparmita. I hope, Sonali, you're okay too, or if you have any
Yes, yes,
doubts.
yes, no, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, Gaurav, over to you if you wish to add something here.
No, I'll just show the uh, pictorial representation what we discussed, and
Yes,
I
please.
think
Yes,
then
please.
we will wrap it up for today then. Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know it's time.
Yeah. So this is how a sprint review in pictorial form would look like. Increment we have talked about. Every single deliverable is an increment. Okay. And who all are involved? Scrum Master, team, others, client, and product owner. It will go for 2 to 4 hours. So we will talk about all the done functionality, updated product backlog, and then product owner will talk about next sprint planning date. So this is just a nutshell about the sprint preview. We will continue and we'll talk more about done on the next day. But do you want these things to remember forever? All.
Yes.
Yes.
And are you
Yes.
serious about remembering it?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So for remembering, how you will be able to remember that?
Watch
We
the
can
video.
Watch
summarize
the
it.
video and
Summarize.
summarize.
And rewatch
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So with this take, I consider that you are ready for summary. So thank you so much. Have a big round of applause to all of you because you have understood. So you can also applaud for yourself. What you appreciates you back. So thank you so much. On this note, because I heard Sonali at the end. So Sonali, one thing I would like to know from you, that what you are feeling after going through today's training. So what do you have to say about it? So Sonali, over to you.
Yes, it was very informative, Gaurav, and definitely looking forward for more. And we have to rewatch and we have to remember why we are here every time. We have to summarize. That is the most important thing. We have to do it. But yes, there's lots of things we have covered it today's session. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sonali. Call out someone's name on the screen. And thanks.
Aparmita, please.
Apamita.
Over to you.
Yes, Apamita, over to you.
Thank you, Sonali. Today's session was very informative, and two things I've made note of watching the capacity and velocity video that I missed last time, and there was two more points that I'd written. Yeah, the questions that sir had asked in the beginning of the session.
Yeah.
So
And you got the answer as well, right, Apamita?
yes,
Okay,
yes, I
super.
did.
So call out
Thank
someone's
you.
name on the screen. You're welcome, Apamita.
Aparna.
Aparna. Yes, Aparna. What do you feel like saying?
Yeah, today's session was very interesting and informative. I was able to understand a lot of important points. I've noted them down. I will rewatch the videos and try to summarize.
Okay, awesome, Aparna. Sorry, Aparna, you call out someone's name on the screen, please.
Savan.
Sawan. Yes, Sawan. What do you feel like saying?
Yep. Today it was very informative. Just like Uppermith, I'll also be watching the velocity video. And I learned a lot about like Scrum events and everything. So in depth to understand. But I'm still gonna rewatch it to understand it more.
Okay. So that's it. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, Sawan, call out someone's name on the screen. You see?
Prerna.
Prerna, what do you feel
Thank
like
you,
saying?
Savan.
Yes.
Yes. I could feel from everybody's feedback that today's session had, the earlier session also had been wonderful. And yes, velocity, I think we have a dedicated, not I think, Gaurav has created a
Yes.
dedicated video for this. And it's a very wonderful, very easy to understand video. And it's a very, at times, a typical question asked in interviews. So I think, you can check that video also on Guru Schools. And I'm pretty sure the session was nice. The remaining part which I took, I also could feel that you all have had a really good understanding of this entire sprint concept. So superb to know that. And yes, keep up the good work and keep watching the recording videos. And yes, do share your recordings. If you must have seen in the earlier batches, people used to have, even right now, you guys were also making some small videos. But I encourage you to make videos on sprint meetings, sprint planning, velocity, capacity. So it can be as small as 2 to 5 minutes. It can be a bigger video, because those videos we all upload in on Guru School's channel. And all the outside HRs, big company HRs are having to look at it, and they kind of screen through your profiles on that. So it's a very good way. You can also have those video links in your LinkedIn channel. So absolutely, please go ahead and make some videos there wherein we could see your confidence level, and you yourself will do feel much more confident and better in overall learning. So thank you so much. Overall, a great session. Over to you, Gaurav.
Thank you so much, Prerna. Yes, totally agree with you. So I really loved your engagement and your energy. It was good. But remember to remember, and how do you remember? By summarizing it. That is the most important thing, because when you summarize, you improve and strengthen your own and right connection. So that is the most important thing. I had given sufficient example why and how it happens. And yes, on this note, remain connected. Connected is the word I want to re-emphasize. How would you remain connected? On Sunday we have the session. Tuesday, Monday, you go back and you draw and summarize and share that. You remain connected. Tuesday, you come back again and you work with us, and you learn again. And Wednesday, you summarize that. Thursday, you have RRP session. Please attend that RRP session. If you have any question, then you utilize that for Friday. Saturday will be your breather point. Next, again, we are going to meet on Sunday. So in a way, for the entire week, you will remain connected. If you don't remain connected, what is going to happen? Out of sight is out of mind. Okay. And this is how it is going to happen. Hope you understood. So thank you so much. And I wish you good night and take a good rest and wake up pumped up.
Gaurav, just be there, okay? After
Yeah.
this. Yes.
Wake
Okay,
up
guys.
pumped
Good
up.
night.
Start your
Okay.
day with Stranger
Yes.
Secret. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Right.
Absolutely.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yes, Prerna.
Yes, Gaurav. So, Gaurav, me and Dada and our family was out on a weekend.
Okay.
And luckily I got some time of Dada while travel, because वहाँ पे भी वो meetings और इसमें ही थे. So we had a lot of discussion, and yesterday we also had internal discussion with our CA and that Hetal ma'am, right? Our new accountant. So we had a first round of internal discussion for ourselves, and उनके जो भी उनके concern थे, जो भी थे, हमने कल discuss किया. आज 8:45 PM को दादा ने शाम को meeting रखी है. So whatever your doubts are with respect to TDS, professional tax, how it is gonna be, whatever, पहले तो वो आपको प्रेजेंट करेंगे कि हमारी न्यू सिस्टम, मतलब हम ये क्यों कर रहे हैं, एंड व्हाई इट इज टू बी डन, यू नो, ऑल दैट. फिर आई जस्ट वांट टू रिक्वेस्ट यू कि आप आपके जो भी डाउट होंगे ना इस सेशन में क्लैरिटी ले लीजिए. ऐसे, बिकॉज़ दे आर द राइट पीपल टू गिव यू क्लैरिटी. हां,
Right. I will try it,
Yes.
because it also depends that कितना मैं attend कर पाऊंगा, because my call will be there, my office
No,
call.
not an
So
issue, because we will be recording this session.
yes, so
Yes,
if
we will be
now
recording this
not
session.
then and there, then maybe later
Yes,
day
yes,
I
you
may.
can anytime reach out, but I am just see, we had this forum because कैसे होता है ना, बहुत सारे लोग उनको डायरेक्टली मैसेज करते हैं या हमें करते हैं, तो we have then disconnect कि इनका क्या अपडेट है. सो एंड ऑल्सो इट इज, वी ऑल्सो वांट टू गिव यू गाइस क्लैरिटी ना कि क्या है, क्या कर रहे हैं, क्यों कर रहे हैं, first of all, and how it will impact you, and if you need any help we have the CA, so everything that is it. तो it's a good forum. अगर आपको हो सकता है तो आप ज्वाइन करिए, नहीं तो आप
Definitely I'll join, but completion I'm not sure of.
No, that's okay. ज्यादा
Yeah.
लंबा भी नहीं, because दादा का 9:30 का खुद का कॉल है, so it won't be more than 30 to 45 minutes. Let's see. Okay.
Yes, sure.
चलेगा.
Okay.
Okay. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Good day.